Yeah, let the big dog hunt. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Kallas Remarks with your host, Joe Staszak, along with my man, Steve Kallas. Steven, how you doing today, my friend?
Oh, good, Joe. Great to be with you as always.
You too, previewing week 11 of the NFL season. Can't believe we're at week 11 already. Patriots and Jets last night. What can you say? The Patriots, same old Patriots, same old Jets. They won 8 in a row now under Mike Vrabel. Derek May still a candidate for MVP, and they keep rolling right along. They look pretty buttoned up with Mike Vrabel, and they had his name escapes me, but a coach for 1 year, and they got rid of him last year. Brought in Vrabel because he was available.
Mayo, right? Wasn't it
Yeah,
Mayo?
that's right, Jared Mayo, and what a turnaround! 9-2 in one season. And they could, don't be surprised if they make some noise in the playoffs. Look, Buffalo doesn't seem to be Buffalo anymore. They're running away with the division, and they could do some damage in the playoffs.
I think you're right. I mean, the surprise team of the year now, when you take a look back from before the season to now, 8-26 the last two seasons. And everyone was like, yeah, good for you. You had Brady for all those years. You deserve it. But now Mays, right now, he's the leading, I don't know how they do the pluses in FanDuel or something, but he's the leading MVP candidate, which is kind of incredible. But 25 for 34, 281 yards, one touchdown, no picks. Diggs, 9 receptions for 105. Boy, does Buffalo miss Diggs, no? And they're missing Stevenson, who's their power running back between the tackles. But they have Travion Henderson, a rookie who is happy to go inside or outside. I mean, he's had some incredible runs this year. And yesterday he had 3 touchdowns, two rushing, one
He's
receiving.
been great. He's been
I know
great.
that I know they're all close to the end zone
He
and
had a
stuff,
couple last week.
but he's the guy. And the Jets, they had the first drive, they had an 8-minute drive, and Fields ran it in. But unfortunately, Fields 67 rushing yards in that TD, but he's only 15 for 26 for 116 yards. They had 23 yards in the first half, 23 passing yards, Joe, in the first half. So look, they're rebuilding. Everybody loves the coach, so I guess he's going to get a pass. They traded their two best players on defense anyway. And the Patriots did what they had to do, but it was a game for a while. It was 21-14 in the third quarter. But again, the Jets just aren't that good. And the Patriots are. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I'll give you one other one on the Jets. They have no interceptions in the first 10 games. It's tied for the longest streak in NHL history to start the season. They have no interceptions and one fumble recovery in 10 games. Um, so that's a tough way to go, obviously. But they I don't know how they do these numbers. Maybe you do, but the Patriots now have a 77% chance to win the AFC East. And Buffalo's at home this week, but they have a very tough game, I think, with Tampa Bay. I mean, Baker, they lost last week to the Patriots, right? And Baker had a really good game, but Buffalo is not Buffalo. I'm sorry.
They're
Josh Allen,
not.
Josh Allen is not Josh Allen.
They don't appear to be.
And so I know we're going to get into that in a minute, but Patriots are for real. The Jets are counting their number one draft picks for the next 2 years. I think they have two this after this season, then three after the next season.
Well, it's great.
Um,
There's not. It's not a great quarter. It's not a really rich quarterback draft, except for the kid from Indiana.
right, right. And one more thing about the Patriots. Gronkowski signed a 1-day contract to retire as a Patriot, which is, actually pretty cool.
Saw
Uh,
that.
So I don't know. Patriots are for real, and the Jets aren't. That's the best way to sum up that game.
What does it do to retire as a Patriot?
Huh?
What does it do to retire? He's already
They,
retired.
they had some kind of ceremony. I guess if you want, it's to bring a lot of guys do that. I mean, a
You
lot of
know
big
they do.
players, but I think it's just to have one final homecoming. He rang that bell. I didn't even know they had a bell in New England, but he rang that bell, and I think it was the halftime show. They had some kind of video or something. So good for him. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. I don't know. Has he been out 5 years? He's a
He's
first
a
ballot.
Hall of Famer.
One
He
of the
played on
greatest.
he played on the Tampa team that won a Super Bowl. Not quite. I don't think he's out five yet. Maybe this is five or one more year.
I'll be surprised if he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He was the man. Him and Brady. Uh,
Yep.
Buck, you mentioned the Bills. I mean, the Bills are home, laying 6.5 to Tampa Bay. That's an interesting line. I mean, Tampa Bay has been pretty good this year. The Bills up and down. Can't really tell who's going to show up for the Bills.
Yeah, I kind of like Tampa Bay. I think I'm going to pick them plus the points. I thought I saw somewhere it was the dreaded Joe Staszak 5.5, so I was taking the
That's
under
the,
on
that's the
it.
Houston. That's Houston.
But I'll take 6.5. But no, I think Buffalo's in trouble, but this is one of those games. And hey, Tampa Bay also, I mean, they have a good record, but they're I don't want to say they're up and down. They still have the best blitzers in the league. But I think that's a winnable game for Baker Mayfield. I really think they can win, but we're going to find out where Buffalo is on the schedule. I mean, sometimes I know they beat the Panthers 40-9 and it was the Panthers, but now you know the Panthers are okay. And they're just kind of up and down. They're just not. And I think also, I think I heard, isn't Kincaid their really good tight end? I think he's out and he's a really good player. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think I'm going to take Tampa Bay, whether it's 5.5 or 6.5. I think I'm going to take Tampa Bay in that game because I think they can win outright.
I agree. I think the winner, whoever covers, wins that game outright. Um, you
Chiefs,
know,
Chiefs
not,
Broncos,
what's that?
Chiefs Broncos.
Yeah, Chiefs Broncos is a matchup that will might dictate. We'll see the AFC West, or at least have a say in it. Chiefs people were talking yesterday saying that's not a must win for the Chiefs. I think they have to win. They're 5-4. They don't want to go to 500 after 10 games. Broncos are a miraculous 8-2. You know, I don't believe in them. They wake up in the fourth quarter, but I guess yeah, fourth quarters to play. But Broncos are 3.5 point dog at home to the Chiefs.
I'm leaning Chiefs only because, last year everything was, well, it's the Chiefs, well, it's the Chiefs, well, it's the Chiefs, it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Patrick Mahomes, and that worked fine until the Super Bowl. And and this might be the big problem for them right now because, strikes me if they don't win this game, they're going to have to go 6-1 or 7-0. Now I know they can do that, don't get me wrong, but I think the Broncos offensively, Bo Nix is not taking that. We thought at the beginning of the year he's taking a big step forward, but not really. And I think that's a humongous game. It is for the Broncos. It is for the Chiefs. One of the Chiefs, 5-4, or maybe 5-5. I mean, it's just I'm just going in for the Mahomes thing. I'm going to take the Chiefs again, -2.5, -3.5. I'm seeing too many. There's a lot of these are tough games, of course. This year has been a really tough year picking wise, but to the point where you can find different point spreads in different places. And I know real gamblers obviously look for the best point spread for what they want, especially out in Vegas, I think, right? I mean, that's what they do. They can line up all these different sports books. But that's a gigantic game. And the other game to me is, well, I'll just give you the two sides. The Broncos have a 10-game home winning streak. That's pretty good. Um, but Mahomes is 13-1 against the Broncos. That's pretty good. And it's Andy Reid coming off a bye. You can talk about that better than most people. And Andy Reid off a bye is not a team you want to play, no matter who you are as the team playing the Chiefs. And I know the Broncos have a great defense. I am a believer in the Broncos, but after these last few games, which they won, I'm not quite a believer as I was. If Johnny's a big believer because of their defense, they have a great defense. But at the end of the day, to me, it's the Chiefs have Mahomes and the other team doesn't. And the only time that's failed lately is in the Super Bowl. You could say it's failed because they're 5-4, of course, but when it really, really counts, and I think this week really, really counts for the Chiefs.
I do too. I totally agree with that. I'll tell you one team, again, not going to be an I told you so, but I never liked this team from the get-go. I didn't like them last year. I don't like the quarterback. I think they were fugazi. Everyone jumped on them after week one. They're 5-3 now. They put up a big 7 points against the Eagles at home after coming off a loss to Carolina as a two-touchdown
Oh
favorite.
boy.
And now I was surprised too when a reporter asked Matt LaFleur, who's winning percentages up there with Nick Sirianni and Lombardi and some of those, like he's
Right.
tremendous winning percentage. Never won it all, never gone to a title game, but the Packers are on the road against the Giants, who are playing with Mike Kafka as their interim head coach because Brian Dable got fired. 7.5 point. They didn't score 7 points last week, and they're 7.5 point favorites at MetLife Stadium. That line, I don't know. Maybe it's one of those. You call it the Joe Staszak line. I mean, that's ridiculous. I would take the Giants in a heartbeat, but it might be a trap.
I think the Giants are waving the white flag. I'm not going to say they're playing for a good draft pick, but they're pretty much they've pretty much given up on the season. And Jameis Winston is starting. I'm sure you heard
He
that.
did.
And you got to protect the quarterback. He has to learn how to slide, or else he's not going to last in this league. He looks like he's a legit quarterback, and he certainly is brave. But sometimes braveness turns into stupidity. You can't run into these guys head first and expect to play a lot of games.
On the NFL.
And I don't think he's out of concussion protocol, but I don't know if there's a point. Now, on the one hand, you want to get him reps as an NFL quarterback. On the other hand, you don't want him to start in his rookie year as like, I got a concussion problem, and he'll be one of these guys after 3 concussions in 4 years, he retires or something. And again, they don't have their superstar wide receiver and Neighbors. They don't have that good rookie running back. Those 3 guys will make it a good team next year, I think, because their defense isn't bad. Defense isn't great, but it's not bad. So I think they're going to play harder for a new coach. That seems to happen at least for the first week. But Green Bay's a mystery. You're the one who called it after that first week. I was like, oh my goodness, how good are these guys? But Green Bay's still a really good team and they have a good defense. So we'll see what happens. That's a pass game for me.
Yeah, that's I know teams play hard for their interim coach and whatnot, but the Giants better than I do. And if you say they're waving the white flag, I actually turned on the game last night. I was looking for the Patriots game, and all of a sudden I got the Giants Bears game, and I know what happened, but I'm watching the game, and the Giants, it knowing what happened, I'm watching with 5 minutes left. They have a 10 point lead, and Caleb Williams was throwing the ball into the stand, into the dirt. You wonder how they lost that game. But anyway, and that would do it for the coach. Let's do some picks. Do some picks.
Yeah, I'll go. I got 4 weeks now in a row of 2-1, 2-1 last week. And I'll do mine quickly. I'm taking Tampa Bay. We'll see if it's 5.5 or 6.5 at on Sunday morning now, I guess, because there's a lot of mixed things this week. But I'll take Tampa Bay plus the points at Buffalo. I understand it's a make or break for Buffalo as well. I don't think the Patriots clinch the AFC East, but I think if Buffalo loses, they've just about won it because also they've already beaten Buffalo once. So that Buffalo's not going to have the tiebreaker against them by winning 2 games. I don't know what the secondary tiebreaker is, but let's face it, the Patriots are killing it with their winning streak. I'm also going to take the 49ers -3 at the Cardinals. Brock Purdy's coming back this week. Now, look, Mac Jones has been fine. If Brock Purdy was hurt or gets hurt, I'm not worried about that. And I think they just, they're 6-4, the 49ers. They've kept it together, but they have to win this game as well. And I'm going to take the Chiefs -3.5 at Denver. I like Denver, but Bo Nix has shown me that he hasn't really progressed this year in the last few games. But Denver, as we talked about before, they're coming off a 10-game home streak, or you and I before the show, 10-game home winning streak. But of course, the Chiefs are 5-4. If they lose this game, it's 5-5. It's going to be very tough for the Chiefs. But I will say, Mahomes is 13-1 against Denver. And this is Andy Reid coming off a bye. You can talk to that more than I can, but I'll take the Chiefs. Right now, again, it's 3.5. So I got Tampa Bay, the 49ers, and the Chiefs. How about you?
I do like the Chiefs for the reasons you cited. Definitely, I like the Chiefs in that game. They really have to win the game, and they have Mahomes. And I'm not a big Broncos fan this year. I don't care where the game is. So I'll take the Chiefs. I will also take the Tampa Bay Bucks, getting 6.5 points on the road. I think they could at least keep it close, and I don't know what the Bills are, but I also think Tampa can win that game outright. And the other game I was going to play is the Minnesota Vikings. I know they've struggled this year a little bit, have some quarterback issues. It's midnight for the Bears. They're not gonna keep winning like at the pace they're winning. But I have been impressed with what Ben Johnson's done with Caleb Williams. Since we both read that story, they've
Yeah.
won like 5 or 6, 6 or 7. He's done a nice job. Quarterback
Yes, sir.
too, gotta admit. So
Yeah.
I got the Vikings minus 2.5 at home. I have the Chiefs and I have the Buccaneers plus the 6.5. Um, all right, how about a little baseball? MVPs were announced, kind of like same old, same old. You know, I mean the same
Well,
guys.
I'll go quickly on that. Aaron Judge. Well, first, Otani. I mean, he's unanimous MVP for the fourth time. Uh, Only one other guy has won more than three MVPs in baseball, and I put an asterisk next to Barry Bonds, uh, who, as I said, the first day he took a steroid, and you have to go to that book that was written about him. But if he had died the first time he took a steroid, he would have been in the Hall of Fame because he had three MVPs as a skinny player for the Pirates and the Giants. And then he became Barry Bonds. Apparently, he was pissed off that Mark McGuire had done what he was done, and Sammy Sosa had done what he did, and then he became a much better version of those two, and became, Babe Ruth like. I won't say he was ever better than Babe Ruth, but Babe Ruth like. He did hit 73 homers. To me, it's an asterisk. Um, but in any event, for Otani to win four unanimous MVPs, and again, nobody else other than Bonds, asterisk, has won more than three. I mean, he's already in the Hall of Fame. Is he Babe Ruth? I don't think so. You have to go back and look at Babe Ruth's pitching records, which nobody even knows about. The guy was 3-0 in the World Series, best lefty in baseball. I forget his record, but it's like 85 and 35 or something. And that's before he became Babe Ruth. So I don't compare him. I don't think he's better than Ruth. I don't know if he can get there. I mean, Ruth hit more home runs than entire teams, and not just in 1920 and 21 where nobody hit homers, but in 27 when he hit 60. So I don't want to go down that road. But Otani, what can you say? 55 home runs, the most he's ever had. And unanimous four times. I don't even know if Bonds got that. Maybe he did. I don't know. And as for Aaron Judge, look, Aaron Judge is a classy guy. He's now hit 50 or more home runs four times. That's incredible. He won a batting title, batting 331. Um, and again, they say he's got the highest batting average ever for a guy who won the MVP. And I always go back to Babe Ruth. You know the story. It's a great trivia question. How many MVPs did he win? He won one because in the American League in the 20s into the 30s, you couldn't win more than one. And so when you go back and look at what Ruth hit, his lifetime average, I think, is 342. I take nothing away from Judge to do it now. 331 today is like 380, in my opinion.
That's
And he's
true.
awarded the rest of the league in that. But I will say, I said I thought Cal Raleigh should have got it, not because he had a better year than Judge, but just because he led his team to coming in first in their division. He had 60 home runs as a switch hitting catcher. Never heard of, never thought it could possibly happen. Uh, I don't think it will happen again unless he does it. And oh, one more thing on Judge. Three MVPs. He's tied there for the Yankee lead with Joe DiMaggio, Yogi Berra, and Mickey Mantle. So you can't get really better comfort than that, except
Wow.
if you got Gehrig or Ruth. Gehrig won two. He was under the same rules, but played longer than Ruth on the other side. So he got two MVPs. But it was crazy way back then with the MVPs. But congratulations. I'm a big Judge fan, but to me, he's got to win a World Series. If you're going to put him with all these guys on stats, that's great. But and that's all he says. He says, I just want to win a World Series. I mean, he's a classy guy. He's an excellent player, got a great arm, pretty good in the field. He's had those injuries, that toe injury 2 years ago. But, congratulations to Judge, congratulations to Otani. And I think Cal Raleigh, he led the league he led the league in homers and RBIs, Joe. But they gave
Yeah,
it to Judge. I'm not against that. I love Judge. But if they had given it to Raleigh, that would have been fine. They even asked Judge about Raleigh, and he said had a great season, had a great season. Never said he could have won it. I don't know how they do the points, but it was 355 for Judge, 335 for Raleigh. And Judge had, I want to say, 17 first place votes and 13 second. And Raleigh had 13 first place votes and 17
wow.
second. So that's how close it was. But you can't knock Aaron Judge, classy guy, great player, great Yankee, Hall of Famer when he gets out as well.
Amazing. Same two guys. Unbelievable. Hockey. You want to talk a little hockey? We're getting into the swing.
Yeah, just very quick, happy, but a couple of things caught my eye this year. Yeah. The Avalanche beat the Sabres last night 6-3. They are 12-1-5. That's pretty incredible. But one of the reasons I bring it up is because McKinnon, who's a superstar, he tied Peter Stastny. He had 2 assists last night. He tied Peter Stastny for the second most points in Avs history. Now, you'd like to hope, look, I get a lot of info from ESPN. They're great. But you'd like to hope when they say tied for second. What do you think, Joe?
Right. Who are you
First.
tied with?
And of course, it's
Or
Joe
who's
Sakic.
first?
It's Joe Sakic. So
Yeah.
he's Mr. Avs, but you got to go look that up, which is what I did, frankly. And also, a guy you like a lot, Brad Marchand, down in Florida, 2 assists yesterday. And, only his career only in Boston and Florida. And he left Boston last year and won a cup, right? And he's sticking around this year. He got 2 assists to get 1,000 points. And, they were dousing him with champagne after the game. But I thought that was a nice touchy thing because what his cups were like 14, 15 years apart or something.
Yeah.
But good for him. And he's
Well, he
still
won in 2011. Yeah, 14
yeah,
years.
he's still playing at a high level. So you got to give him credit as well. And congratulations to him.
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. All right, good stuff, Steve. Yeah, we'll be back on.
Can we go NBA just quickly?
Oh yeah, of course.
I'll just give you three quickies. Thursday, yesterday, Jalen Johnson, who has been injured in his career. I mean, he was a first round draft pick in 2021. Jalen Johnson, yesterday, the first NBA player to get, I think they said over 30 points, he had 31, over 15 rebounds, he had 18, over 10 assists, he had 14, and over 5 steals, he had 7. So he went 31 points, 18 rebounds, 14 assists, 7 steals to lead the Hawks to a 132 victory over the Jazz, 122. Markkanen, who's had some scoring crazy games this year, 40.7 rebounds. The Nuggets on Wednesday, Jokic went for 55, 12 rebounds, 6 assists as they beat the hapless Clippers. Nuggets now 9-2. And finally, also on Wednesday, the Warriors at San Antonio beat the Spurs 125-120. That's one of those early games that you look at. Warriors 7-6, Spurs 8-3. Curry had 46, 5 and 5, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Wemby had 31, 15 rebounds, 10 assists. He's already a superstar. But I just thought I'd give you some quick ones on that stuff as well.
No, that's very good. Appreciate it. You can check out Steve's stuff on his daily Facebook forum page, Speaking of Sports, with Steve Kallas, and you can also check out this podcast on YouTube and all the other audio outlets. And you can follow me on Twitter at Joe Staszak 975 or on Instagram at Joe Staszak 4799. We'll be back to recap week 11 of the NFL season. Eagles and Lions, a marquee game on Sunday night. Eagles 2.5 point favorites. They're 7-2, and still the ongoing A.J. Brown drama continues in South
Unbelievable.
Philadelphia. Stephen, great stuff, my friend. We'll talk to you on Tuesday and have a great weekend.
Always a pleasure, Joe.
You too, pal. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll talk to you later.